along for the ride. Oh, boy, we got a lot to talk about today on the program. My headphones just went out, just so you know.
Uh-oh.
I got no headphones.
No headphones?
I've had these headphones for like 30 years.
Really?
It was about time for them to go out. So my headphones
How
go
about
out.
that?
But what a weekend in football, what a weekend in college football, what a day at the bank. I don't even know where to start, but it's amazing how much stuff there is to talk about. I'll get to Trevor. I'll get to the way that thing ended. There's so much stuff going on, but I'm still rattled, upset, and annoyed with what happened with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was egregious. It was the worst cheap shot I've ever seen on an NFL field. Really, I can't even think of anything I ever saw cover in high school or at the collegiate level. But what really hit home for me was John McClain, who's, on the Mount Rushmore of greatest sports writers that have covered the NFL of this generation. He's been doing it for 48 years. Used to work for the Houston Chronicle, and John's still very active. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame for his contributions as a writer, and he tweeted, "I can't remember a cheap shot worse than what Al-Shahir did to Trevor Lawrence." That really resonated with me. This is a guy who's obviously been doing it for 50 years and at this level. It was assault. It was assault on a football field. The way that he goes in with the braced forearm to the neck head area. Trevor Lawrence is lucky he didn't get his jaw broken. And obviously there's going to be brain trauma, as we immediately saw. It was sickening.
It was the worst cheap shot in any game I've ever called. I can't remember seeing one that turned my stomach more, whether I called it or not. I think Al-Shahir is a cheap player. I think he's a dirty player. And I think the suspension should be significant. The NFL typically suspends you one game if there's a history. That's what they did. Wasn't there a Steelers defensive back that got a one-gamer this year or somebody else because they had a history of late hits? Mm-hmm. So it was a one-game suspension. Typically, it's a one-game suspension. When you look at this hit, the hit on Will Levis last week, the time he tried to choke Tom Brady when he played for the 49ers and Brady played for the Bucks, the hit on Caleb Williams earlier this year and then throwing a punch afterwards at someone's face when a melee ensued. The way he acted after this one, when he tried to pick a fight and then instead of going to the locker room, took his head off and started back over to the Jaguars sideline to where Brandon Sheriff took his helmet off and was happy to meet him.
Right. After protesting the flag.
He should get, I could live with a 2-game suspension and 2 game checks. I think the appropriate penalty is a 3-game suspension and 3 game checks. Because of how viral this one went, because of how high profile it is, high profile a player that Trevor Lawrence is. It's more than about, you say, well, you shouldn't penalize a guy more for one player than the other. No, I get that. But the NFL is at a point now where they have to send a very strong message. The messaging here is critical, absolutely critical. You have to send a message. It should be a 3-game suspension and 3 game checks. There's no place for it. It was sickening. It was infuriating. And I applaud the Jaguar players who responded immediately, led by Evan Ingram and Anton Harrison and Brandon Sheriff and the rest of them. I applaud them. I applaud the way they handled it. It was a terrible, sickening, cheap hit on every level. And if they don't at least give him multiple games, hopefully 3, shame on the National Football League, shame on Roger Goodell, shame on everything that involves it. It was a sickening, awful hit on a defenseless player. I understand when players slide, that sometimes as a player slides and a defensive player is already starting to move to tackle, that everybody knows the quarterback's sliding. And when the quarterback does slide, defensive players know they've got to try and avoid him. He knew what was happening. You go back and look at the still shots of that. There was time to avoid.
He has 3.5 yards to react.
Correct. If he tried to avoid it and then there's some contact because he couldn't get out of the way, I can live with that. Even though that probably would have been a penalty too, it wouldn't have been like this. It wouldn't have been this. And I understand defensive players are in a tough spot there. I get it.
You're not in a tough spot in that situation.
Well, not to do what he did.
Yeah.
And the forearm shiver is proof he didn't try to pull up. Forget everything else. Forget what he said in his bogus apology today. The forearm is the proof that he wasn't trying to pull up, because no matter what else you do, you can move your arms out of the way. You had time for that. He said, I didn't realize he was sliding. That's a bunch of crap. And by the way, bro, we've got you on tape in all these other games. It was a black mark on the Houston Texans, on the NFL, on everything. It's a dangerous play. There's a code. There's a code of honor in that league. You play hard. You play hard against each other. You hit hard, but you protect each other, not just your teammates, the other people that are laying their life and bodies on the line the same way you are. There's a code of honor in that league, and he violated the code of honor. It was a sickening, disgusting hit, and if he's not down for a long time, Hays, the NFL will have failed miserably to send a message that everybody. I didn't even know the John McClain post. John McClain, for people that don't know, covered Houston football forever and is one of the most esteemed college or pro football writers in the world. And for him to say that about a team that he covers, team in his market, is proof of it. You have a chance to send a message, and shame on the NFL if it's not a stern message.
Well, I think we're about an hour away from finding out what it will be, because my guess is we're going to see it right around 5 o'clock. But, I think in looking at it, the other thing, too, is, in my opinion, it was premeditated. Now, I'm not trying to suggest that he, before the snap, premeditated, this is going to be the play I'm going to take out Trevor Lawrence. But it was premeditated in the sense that, you are going low. I mean, that's not how you would. Foye Oluokun made this point today, and he's dead on. It's not how you would approach a normal tackle on Trevor Lawrence. So if you're going low, the slide is coming. And again, it was despicable. Thankfully Trevor was able to walk out of the stadium on his own. But you don't know what kind of implications this could have on his life moving forward. And this league is we almost too protective of the quarterbacks, but the owners are investing $500 million in these guys once they get to their second contract. And it just can't be tolerated. I mean, he shouldn't really be allowed to play for the rest of the season.
By the way, I can live with that.
This is a league where if you glance their face mask as you go by them, it's a 15-yard penalty. You can't apply body weight to these guys, which in some instances, really, you can't control. But they still are going to penalize you if you apply body weight when you tackle the quarterback. If this isn't one of the most significant in-game penalties the league has handed out, then shame on them, because it just flies in the face of everything they're trying to do, and you can't defend it. John Runyon is, who obviously used to be a former offensive lineman in this league, handles this now for the NFL, so he's the one that's going to watch the video and make the conclusion on what he believes the penalty should be. But I can't imagine it's not going to be substantial.
I hope you know what? Maybe I'm still pissed, which is why I'm doubting a little bit here. But I'll bet it's a game, maybe 2. It should be. I could live with the rest of the season, by the way. But if it's not 3, shame on the league. And by the way, I don't pretend to know every NFL rule. I think I'm a play-by-play guy. I know most of them. But that penalty should stand alone. That's 15 yards and an ejection. If you want to then throw other flags on guys who fight and make those offset, that's fine. But what in the world are we doing when you tell me that one of the most egregiously dirty hits that we've ever seen, and Jari and Jones trying to get a punch in 2 minutes later, offset each other?
After the play.
And I don't give a damn what the rule says. Use your head, Land Clark. It's a 15-yard penalty because you can't mark it off 30. And it was just a terrible, terrible moment in the NFL. And I'll tell you this: I call a game with two first-round picks that were badasses. Okay, I can tell you that. I can tell you, if you ever watched Tony Baselli and Jeff Lageman play, you didn't want to be across from him. I'm just going to tell you, you didn't want to be across. My guys wanted to come out of the booth. I mean, they both joked about it. Tony was pretty much joking. Lageman was about maybe 50% joking. I can tell you how ticked off they were. I mean, I can tell you I can tell you how ticked off they were. And that's just two guys sitting next to me in a broadcast booth. I can only imagine what your teammates felt. It was just a terrible moment in the NFL. It really was.
It was. And it's incredibly unfortunate because now this is something and this is what the league has to consider. Yes, the league, I think, always bases its penalty somewhat on, well, how significant is the player who got hurt? So, like, the fact that, it seems today like this is just sort of Trevor's in the concussion protocol, but it doesn't seem like there's anything extra, associated with. There isn't a broken jaw, or there isn't, hey, he's still in the hospital and this is one of the worst concussions we've seen. But the league shouldn't factor that into this. I mean, this is a hit that probably shortens his career. And it's, if nothing else, adds another concussion to his career, which we just don't know in how significant that is. And as medical science catches up to it, you just can't let this slide. This was an easily preventable situation. To be honest, he doesn't even really have to contact him. He's been in this league long enough. This is a guy who's 27 years old playing in his 83rd career game. I mean, obviously, as soon as Trevor slides, the play is over. You don't have to worry about the yardage. They're going to mark him as soon as he begins the slide. That's the way it's always been done. So there's just no justification for it. And unless the owners want this to be open season, because if you give him a slap on the wrist for this, then the message is going to be, hey, particularly if you're in a division, you're leading your division, they just committed $200 million in guaranteed money to their guy. There's going to be guys that are going to headhunt. Absolutely. And, you can't have that. This would be the equivalent of, in my opinion, somebody taking their hockey stick in an NHL game and hitting their opponent in the back with it, like Steve Bertuzzi did. And I understand the authorities aren't going to get involved in this, and I'm not suggesting that they should, but the league has got to step in and make it crystal clear to every defender in this league that you absolutely cannot do this. And if you do it, your career is going to be altered, and his career should be altered by this. He should be suspended for the final 5 games of the season. I think then you have sent a message that will resonate with every player in this league. But I'm really going to be interested in seeing how John Runyon handles this. But you
think it's today? Is it?
I would think it's today, because even though Houston's on the bye, the league wants to try and get it out before you kind of part way, before that Tuesday off day. And so usually the discipline comes down late afternoon, Monday, kind of close of business day. So that's what I would anticipate. We'll see. Maybe Houston being on a bye, maybe that delays it. But honestly, it takes all of 15 seconds to realize what's there on the video. I mean, how many times do you have to watch it? It's clear that this was an intentional, deliberate, premeditated attempt to end somebody's career.
According to Aaron Wilson, who covers the Texans, a good NFL writer, respected, he said DeMeco Ryans at his presser today said, "We stand behind Azeez Al-Shaair." And then later he was critical of the Jaguars for an overreaction to the hit. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I mean,
you sound like an idiot.
I haven't heard the
and I'm just reading Aaron
audio
Wilson.
of it, but I mean that seems absurd.
Let me just be clear. If someone hit C.J. Stroud right in front of your bench, I think DeMeco might have been in the fight. So don't tell me they overreacted. What an idiot comment that was. We'll talk about the Jaguars moving forward. They're 2-10 now. We don't know the status of Trevor Lawrence moving forward. We'll give you some thoughts on that. We'll talk about the football game overall yesterday, another one that came down to the final minutes, and the Jaguars couldn't make the last play, and the Texans did. That's sort of been the story of the season. We'll talk about Florida's win over Florida State and the incredible resurgence of the Florida football team. What a weekend in college football. I'm still spinning from the Georgia Tech game. I'm not sure I'm over that one yet. Game of the year between those two teams. If you didn't see it, we'll talk about that. We got a lot to do on the program. Bucky Brooks checks in at 4 o'clock. Glad you're with us. Frangie, Carlyon, and La Selva on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This November, Nimnik Chevrolet is honoring the brave men and women who served our country. Nimnik is proud to announce their partners with K9s for Warriors. With every vehicle purchase, you're helping provide highly trained service dogs to military veterans and supporting the K9s for Warriors mission. And this month, as a token of our appreciation, Nimnik Chevrolet is offering $1,000 military appreciation discount on select new Chevrolet models. So who makes your purchase go further for veterans? Nobody but Nimnik. And oh, by the way, that red tag sales event is back at Nimnik. This month, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado or enjoy rates as low as 0% financing. That's right, 0% and no payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Unlike most dealerships, Nimnik's got the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. So you want great deals? You want a dealership that truly respects the military? You want to head to Nimnik. Head there today. Nobody but Nimnik.
Everything you need to know about your hometown team.
Jaguars today.
Go inside the Jags and the NFL every day from 10 to noon with Mike, Tony, and Jags Insiders.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
This holiday season, let Bono's Catering do the cooking so you can enjoy more time with family and friends. Frank Frangie here. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue for 75 years. Holiday catering is available with whole smoked turkeys, country hams, and all the fixings. Be sure to pre-order online at bonosbarbq.com or give us a call at 904-332-7427. Speaking of the holidays, Bono's signature rubs make the perfect gift for all barbecue lovers. Remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
You've got so many chances to win big on Hard Rock Bet. Even a small bet can bring in that serious cash. All you need is $1 and a dream.
Unbelievable. They've hit the parlay. Let's go!
Big payouts for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Your pipes are leaking, don't get nervous. Fa la 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 la. Call Roll and Reach for same day service. Fa la 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 la. He guarantees your satisfaction. Fa la 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 la. Call Roland and he'll spring into action. Fa la 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 la. This holiday season, if you have a leak and can't wait a week, dial 904-260-7059. And from the Roll and Reach family to yours, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hacker here. I know I've been sharing my Awaken 180 story for a while now, talking about how much I lost every week, and yeah, that's cool, but I get it, redundant. So let me tell you something that hit me like a freight train the other day. I checked out my Awaken 180 weigh-in portal, and the number just clicked. I started at nearly 320 pounds, and today, my scale read just over 200 pounds. Let that sink in. I'm now lighter than 90% of my buddies. And let me tell you, that's a flex I couldn't dream of a year ago. I owe it all to my Awaken 180 coach and to the program set out to work for anyone. It's been absolutely life-changing. Don't just take my word for it. Head over to my Twitter at RyanGreen1010XL. You'll see the transformation for yourself. But the real transformation, that's how I feel every single day, every step I take, and every morning I wake up. Get that same feeling. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
The next generation of college stars are here in Jacks. Tom Hacker joined 1010XL all day Wednesday to learn where high school's top prospects will be headed. The early signing period is brought to you by San Jose Collision.
On 1010XL.
Homeowners, listen up. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Hey, it's Prosser here, and the Fed has dropped the rates again. The election is over, and Loan Pronto has APRs in the low fives for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans. If your current mortgage rate is over 6%, or if you're in the process with another lender, don't settle. Call Loan Pronto now for a second opinion. Lock a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. And if you act now, you won't make your first payment till February. This 5-minute call saves homeowners an average of $5,000, lower rates and lower fees. So get your Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. It's Loan Pronto. Call them at 904-999-1508, or you can visit loanpronto.com. That's Loan Pronto at 904-999-1508, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Play fake. Rolling to his left, looking downfield. Trevor's looking. He wants to run it to midfield. Slides in. Oh, he got drilled. What in the world? He absolutely got drilled, and there's a melee, and I don't blame him. He slid to the ground. He's still on the ground. That's about as cheap a shot as you'll ever see in the NFL.
It's a brawl. It's a flat-out brawl.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
We thank our friends from the Best Bet. Clockwork Cash Out is back and better in December. $300 table game giveaways every 15 minutes at both Best Bet St. Augustine and Orange Park. Head to the Best Bet today, and of course that great Jacksonville location as well. That was our call yesterday when it happened. We were all still kind of bowed up about it, and I couldn't believe it. It's one of the few things I've called that I couldn't believe I was watching. It happened right in front of the booth. It happened right in front of the 50-yard line and our near sideline. So we had a pretty good look at it. I can't believe it happened. And again, I'll say it again. Shame on DeMeco Ryans in his comments today. I'll also tell you that I'd be highly disappointed. And by the way, that's all damage control in Houston. They're trying to avoid the suspension. The El Shair apology, DeMeco Ryans comments, they're badly fighting for. Because maybe you're right, Hayes. Maybe it's going to be a significant suspension. We'll see whether it is or not. As for Trevor Lawrence, no word on Trevor. There's no. We could speculate all we want. There's no point in doing that. I said all along I thought I would not have let the shoulder injury keep him out, and the shoulder injury did not hinder him at all. He was going to be fine. Kevin Kaplan would not have let him go out on that field if he was in risk of re-injuring that shoulder because of the injury. Doug Peterson wouldn't have played him, and Trevor, as much as he's a gamer, would have been too smart to go out there. So I had no problem with him playing. It didn't affect the shoulder. But this one's different. This is his third concussion. This is the second in the NFL. We remember last year he was in the protocol. We saw the fencing, which is very dangerous. If you don't know what that is, your body reacts, your hands react in a certain way, responsive to a brain injury. I'm not going to speculate if he's out for the year. That'd be wrong. Or we could guess all we want. Got an opinion on it. But I will tell you this. Everybody will be very careful with this one. This is one you're very careful. Tua Tagovailoa was down for 4 weeks on injured reserve because they were careful. I'm not going to compare this to that. And again, we're not doctors, and shame on us if we ever try to be. But Trevor Lawrence took a blow, and I do hope that he doesn't put that helmet back on until he's really, really ready.
Yeah, and again, the season factors into that as well. I mean, now it would just be malpractice to put him back out there. I mean, you're 2-10. I mean, what's the point? I can certainly buy into the argument with the non-throwing shoulder injury of, hey, if he doesn't get back out there and play through this, then that could affect his credibility as a leader moving forward. No player is going to question a brain injury. So whether he's cleared or not, regardless, you don't put him back out there. You would hate to see him get a second concussion in a period of 5 weeks. And so I can't imagine that we'll see him again. It's certainly the best for his long-term health and the franchise's long-term health to take his next significant snap in the 2025 season. Obviously it's an incredibly unfortunate way for his season to end. But now you've got to be thinking about the 2025 season now. The 2024 season is over. You're 2-10. At best, you're going to be 7-10, which no one would have done cartwheels over, and I don't think they're going to win out. So, at this point, it's over. And they, under no circumstances, should Trevor Lawrence be back on the football field this season.
As you move forward, you look at the game, and let's talk about the game for a second. The way the game ended, I think, is a microcosm of the Jaguar season in two ways. Number one, it's the 7th time in 10 losses they lost a game by 5 points or less. 7 of the 10, 5 points or less. It's also the 7th time that a game was essentially decided by a play in the last minute and a half of the game, that being the run by Mixon that got the first down that ended the game. So it's a microcosm of the Jaguar season in that regard, Hays, in the fact that the other team made one more play than you did, and that's happened a bunch. But if it keeps happening the same way and it keeps being the other team that makes one more play, at some point you go back and ask why. And I think the way this one ended is the most telling thing. It was 3rd down in between medium and long. 3rd and 8, maybe 3rd and 7.
It was 3rd and 4 on the Mixon 8-yard run.
Okay, it was 3rd and 4. Okay, so it's 3rd and 4. So 3rd and 4. So 3rd and medium. 3rd down and 4.
Which in this league is almost never a run.
It's usually a passing play. So 3rd and 4, and once you toss it and run it, it's mano-a-mano. And I've been saying this for the last week or two, people say, what went wrong in the season? What went wrong? And again, I'm not trying to point fingers at players. They're all trying, and I respect all the players in the NFL. But it is our job to try and tell you where you think it went wrong. And people can point to play calling and scheme and 1,000 different things that went wrong. But they have been out-physicaled almost every game they have played. And that was the last play other than the kneel downs, the last play of the game, again, other than the kneel downs, was a microcosm. It was just a toss play. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't a reverse. It wasn't a counter. It wasn't a misdirection. It was, we're going to toss it to our guy, and a bunch of our guys are going to block your guys. And when the Jags have been in a similar situation, like the first Texans game when they couldn't stay on the field, if you stuff them, you might not have come back and won anyway. But a field goal ties it. You got a cannon leg kicker and a backup quarterback who's kind of found his range a little bit. And the physicality of the Texans, who have not had a good offensive line, against your defense, when they needed 4 yards, he got 8 and ended the game on a simple, no drama, no suspense, no trickeration, no counter. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to toss it to the left, and here's 2 things. I got a quarterback tossing it. That's C.J. Stroud. I got a running back running it. That's Joe Mixon. And after that, it's my guys blocking your guys. And it turned into an 8-yard run that wasn't even close. I mean, he made it by 4 yards. And in my mind, that is a microcosm of why this team has lost 10 games. I'm not saying Trevor's been perfect. I'm not saying the receivers have been perfect. I'm not saying the play calling's been perfect. And everyone's pointing to play calling and this and that. But at the end of the day, if you can't win the line of scrimmage, you can't win much in the NFL. I'll say it again. I don't believe 10 of the 12 teams have had better quarterback play than the Jags. I don't think 10 of the 12 teams have had better wide receiver play. I don't think 10 of the 12 teams have had better secondary play than the Jags. Maybe half of them, maybe some of them. But I think 10 of those 12 teams have won the trenches. I think 10 of the 12 have won the trenches. And that play at the end of the game, in my mind, in my opinion, is a microcosm of what has gone wrong this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's running it. I mean, it wasn't just that final play. Mixon was 5 carries for 28 yards on that sequence when all they're going to do is run the ball. And so it obviously it's a complete systematic failure. The roster, while I think is more talented than a 2-10 team, certainly has massive issues in the trenches, particularly in the interior, the defensive line. And that's been a problem all year. I mean, can you think of, other than stopping the tush push, I can't really think of any other game in which I'd say the interior defensive line played well.
I can't either, Hays. I can't.
Which is ironic since it's against the good game, came against maybe the best unit, but it's just everything's broken. I mean,
the trenches are really broken.
Trenches are broken, but they're poorly coached. They have no edge at all. Doug Peterson seems completely checked out from an emotional standpoint, and I just think in looking at it, it's just in need of an entire reset and a brand new vision of Jaguars football. And you're just going to get all you're going to get over these next 5 weeks are more examples of that. They may win a game here and there because obviously they're a bad team, but they're playing a litany of bad teams down the stretch here. But there's no passion, there's no pride, there's no fire, there's no grit. There's anything that you would need to have a winning program here is lacking.
Yeah, and I will respectfully disagree with a lot of that. Maybe it's true. I don't know that I've got the eye for passion and grit. I don't know. What I do know is if they're blocking you every play,
you don't have passion and grit if they're blocking.
And maybe you're right. And either that or your players aren't good enough. I can tell you that. I also know if you rarely have clean pockets, I don't know if that's a passion or grit thing or if your offensive linemen aren't good enough. But whether it's passion, grit, edge, play calling, maybe all that's in play, Hays. But they have lost the trenches almost every game. They have been beaten in the trench. And I thought, again, I'll go back to the play. You made the point. You knew they were running. You knew if you stopped that play, you knew if you stopped that play, and it's evident. And again, we this is coaching versus GMing, and I'm not trying to get into that.
They're both bad.
Yeah, but they're having to try different guys every game. One game Big O's down and Mason Smith's up. One game Jordan Jefferson's up and Ledbetter's down. One game, they're having to try so many different combinations to find the right guys. They're trying to find the right guys. And so again, when you rebuild this thing, regardless of who's rebuilding it, regardless of who's coaching them next year, who's GMing next year, regardless of who's in play, okay? We Lord knows we've been having that conversation for weeks everywhere in Jacksonville. Fire the GM, fire the coach. We'll get to that. But whoever is in charge of building this, whoever is in charge, you have to rebuild those trenches. You have to. They signed Walker Little to a contract extension yesterday. I think Walker Little's okay. I hope he's as good as the contract indicates that they want him to be. They believe they've got their left tackle. But you have got to. I remember watching Kevin Zeitler play for the Lions a couple weeks ago, and I remember when the Bengals let him go. Remember we talked about it. We talked about it on the show.
He was a hot free agent.
He was the guy that said, "Man, it'd be nice if he came in here." He was a little older, and with the Lions, he made every difference in the world for the Lions. I'm not saying because they got a right guard, they're great. But you know my point. They have got to build the trenches, and that was, I don't know about you, but that was my thought on 3rd down and 4, and I was thinking it was 3rd and 6, but okay, 3rd down and 4. My thought was, okay, Someone's got to win the battle here. They're going to run the ball. They've got a good back. They don't have a great line. You've got a lot of defensive guys crowding the line of scrimmage. If you can win this, every big defensive play, almost without exception, every big defensive play they've made in their front seven group has either been Aluakun or Ventrell Miller playing downhill, or Josh Hines Allen or Trayvon Walker affecting the pocket. Nothing in the middle. Nothing in the middle. And you say, well, they haven't covered. Well, they've tried to play a lot of man coverage, and it's hard to play a lot of man coverage when they're double teaming your edges. Your middle guys aren't penetrating. So, but again, third down and medium, and if you stop them, your quarterback just led 2 straight touchdown drives. Now all he needs is a field goal drive. He's just led 2 in a row. And they toss it left, student body left. You know what they used to call that? Student body right, student body. Do they still call it that? I'm kind of an old guy, right?
No,
young people have no idea what I'm talking about. So
they should.
But they and ran right at them. So the Jags lose. They're 2-10. We'll talk more Jags with Bucky Brooks. He comes up at the top of the hour. Let's talk about a wild college football weekend after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here, and I can't say enough good things about the team at Sunshine Turf and the work they've done for us. Let Sunshine Turf transform your backyard into a low-maintenance oasis that will be green all year long with artificial turf. Caleb and his team can help you create the lush outdoor space of your dreams, whether you want a durable place for your kids to play or you're ready to say goodbye to muddy paw prints. Visit sunshineturf.info or call 904-383-0243 for a free quote today from Sunshine Turf.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Are you tired of spiders, ants, roaches, or other pests invading your home? Call the winning team at Kingfish Pest Control. Right now, score 20% off your new pest control service when you start during the football season. Also, enter their Swat That Kick Jaguars promotion at Jaguars.com for a chance to win 3 years of free pest defense. Save big and defend your home with Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it," and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff.
Experience the winning combination of style and performance with Renewal by Andersen, energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Right now, buy one window or patio door and get one 40% off. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. The first 50 customers get a free True Screen upgrade, but this offer expires December 31st. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O. If you want high-quality water in your home at a fair price that won't scare you to death, then talk to someone who knows water and is not a pushy salesman. Contact your local water boy, Keith. I install premium equipment and can repair or even rebuild your existing system. In a business known for aggressive sales tactics, let me show you how my approach is different. If you've got any water problems, contact the water boy at waterboyjack.com.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Come to Monahan Jewelers' 47th annual holiday sale now with up to 30% off GIA certified diamonds and up to 40% off our entire store. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. We're not a big box store. We're your local family jeweler with an amazing hand-picked inventory for every budget, and with interest-free financing, enjoy beautiful jewelry with a low monthly payment. Support your local family jeweler this Christmas with up to 40% off our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, open 7 days a week in December.
If you're buying gifts for family and friends, check out the 1010XL Holiday Gift Guide with ideas from
St. Nicholas Gun and Range,
FOCO, Fans Only,
and the spa at Marriott Sawgrass.
Start shopping and saving at 1010XL.com.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. What a weekend we just had in the betting streets. Did you cash in betting with MyBookie? If you didn't, well, you have Monday Night Football tonight. The Cleveland Browns are on extra rest, traveling to play the Denver Broncos. Both of these teams are coming off a win, and the Broncos are 5.5-point favorites with a 42-point over-under. The Broncos have been taking care of business against teams with a losing record. I'd expect them to win by a touchdown and cover the spread at home against Jameis Winston and the Browns. Guys, MyBookie has the best sign-up bonus in the industry for Florida bettors. Our listeners can just sign up and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit up to $1,000. That's promo code 1010XL to claim your double deposit bonus for Monday Night Football. Bet anywhere, anytime, and make your season a winning season with MyBookie. Don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Budweiser reminds us to drink wiser, like hydrating between beers. It keeps the fun going longer, and it's a commitment to responsibility. Remember, good times are ahead, so no need to overdo it. Know when to say when, and always designate a driver.
This is Dr. Turner Vossler, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Parker Washington stole the show amongst the Jaguars receivers yesterday, having his best game of his young NFL career. Washington played with confidence, catching 6 passes for 103 yards and a touchdown, as he also did a great job getting open, attracting 12 targets. Here's Washington describing his fourth quarter leaping touchdown grab.
He was pretty much playing catch technique. That was in like cover zero, and he's been pretty handsy throughout the game. So he was just catching. So I was like, okay, I have to get to my depth. So I was just wrapping around him, and it was cool. It was pretty much getting and one like basketball. So it was pretty cool for that.
I'm Max Fink here with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Doors, please. Time now for the Sky Life Elite Take Flight Moment of the Week. Sky Life Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
Clock counting down, 2nd and 4. Beck to the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia. Dominic Lovett. They're not done yet.
No, they're not. We still had a good 2 hours of football left. That was Carson Beck's 17-yard touchdown pass to Dominic Lovett, making it a 27-20 Georgia Tech advantage with 3:39 left in the fourth quarter. Who knew? We were heading to 8 overtimes. Georgia 44-42, 968 total yards in the game. Couldn't pick a better moment for our Take Flight Moment of the Week, brought to you by Sky Life Elite. Again, give our friends a call, 490-9332. You can also go to flyskylife.com, learn more about North Florida's premier private air charter.
And you know what? As all these games come up, more Jaguar Road games, all these playoff games, Sky Life Elite, that's the way to get there.
That's right.
Try. They're really good dudes, too. What a game that was.
That's in the team picture for best games I've ever seen.
Yeah, same.
I mean, it didn't go the way I wanted. I was pulling for Georgia Tech, but it was a unbelievably dramatic
Rumor
watch.
has it Georgia Tech still walking to the other side of the field between overtimes.
Georgia Tech outplayed Georgia. They out-toughed them, out-physicaled them, as Kirby Smart said after the game. But Georgia knows how to win. There's something to knowing how to win, and the team that's accustomed to winning knows how to win. I'll tell you what, Brent Key, what he's building at Georgia Tech's going to be good now. They got the right coach. He's tough. They win trenches.
I want no part of them in the bowl game.
That's right. It could be the bowl. So, but what a game it was. Florida State, meanwhile, the Gators did not play very well. Lagway was not good. Lagway.
The drops hurt early.
Right. There one real bad drop by DK. The other drops were a little behind here and there, but they got to make those catches. But he was off a little bit. And he was again, he's a freshman. He's a freshman playing hurt. I could tell on the one running play where it was 3rd and 9 and he ran for about 6 yards, he either all of a sudden has gotten really slow, all of a sudden he's a slow drop back quarterback, or that hamstring's really hurt. Yeah. Because how slow did he look on that run?
Yeah.
Well, he's not slow.
He's not the same guy.
Yeah.
And he's playing
70%. But he was not great. Listen, here's my one negative thing. I still don't believe in my heart of hearts, Hays, that they can get to the promised land or the next level with that offense. With the slow, get the play in slow, people looking at the sideline and looking at their wristbands, then all the pointing and clapping and shifting and play clock running down and barely get it off, and then the slow, deliberate handoff. I don't think they can get to that. He has got to change that, and that's a conversation for the offseason. I don't think he's a good play caller. I think he needs someone else to bring some tempo and bring some modern-day pizzazz to the play calling. Having said that, what a turnaround for Billy Napier and that Florida football team. To be left for dead the way they were, to develop the toughness they did, to develop the defensive playmakers they did. I said before the season, if Graham Mertz started and finished the entire season, they'd be 8-4. And that sounded high because the over and under was 4.5. Mm-hmm. I said, if Graham Mertz starts and finishes the season, they'll be 8-4. Well, he didn't. He got hurt. So did Lagway, and they still finished 7-5 against a brutally hard schedule. Now, some of the teams weren't. Mississippi State was way worse than you thought. UCF was way worse than you thought. FSU, I'll get to them in a minute, was way worse than you thought. But the good teams were as good as advertised. So they finished 7-5. And I will tell you, I can't remember a college team with 5 losses having this much momentum in the offseason. They're flipping everybody in recruiting. I don't even follow recruiting. I just know every time I pick up my phone, they flip somebody. I don't even know who these guys are because I don't follow it. But I know there's a bunch of stars and they're flipping them.
They've gone from 51 to 12.
To 12 in recruiting. And so they're flipping them left and right. There's energy in the program. There's as much as I've seen. And I will tell you this. And I've been saying this, the amount of good young players, edge guys, which are critically important. And I'm going to miss somebody. But off the top of my head, Pyburn and Sapp, who are the 2 starters. TJ Searcy and Cameron James. LJ McCray and whoever I'm missing.
Gums.
And George Gums. That is 6 players. That's 6 edge players who are going to play on Sundays in this league. That's 6. Now, I don't know how Billy Napier found 6 edge guys when he hasn't had 2 in recent years, but they're all going to play in the NFL. Shamar James, Pup Howard. Miles Graham should be playing every down, by the way. The young linebackers, Caden Robinson, Aaron Childs. I'll tell you this, whether it's recruiting, developing, and look, they lose a safety every game. This time they lost Castile, whatever his name is. He didn't fit it. He played, half the game. They lost Aaron Gates before that. They've lost cornerbacks. They've lost the amount of young players, and Saturday wasn't a good example because FSU is so bad. But, Hayes, there is a foundation there. Now, they've got to fix the offense, and they've got to have someone that can develop Lagway. But it's amazing where that program has gone from where they were before the Tennessee game. And I will tip my cap to Billy Napier, and I will tip my cap to Scott Strickland, who in the face of all of it, Hayes, in the face of all of it, said, nope, this is my guy. He got the Board of Trustees to agree with him. This is our guy. This is what we're doing moving forward. And listen, I'm not trying to make them the next coming of Alabama, but for today, it's one of the great resurrections of all time in college football.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I think to your point, Florida finished 10th in the SEC, and fans are ecstatic, as they should be. But you just would never put those two together, that Florida's lost 5 games. They finished 10th in a 16-team league, and everybody is thrilled with the outcome. And I mean, part of that is just how brutal it looked in September, because it looked like they were on their way to a potentially 4-8 season, which would still be 2 games better than what FSU did, but still a disaster. And, in looking at it, you look at the offensive line, they only lose one senior, Crenshaw Dixon, who's, I'd say, their, what would you say, 4th or 5th best guy along the offensive line.
Good player, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right.
But, I mean, everybody else is coming back.
If Damian George and Austin Barber both come back.
Yeah, and Slaughter.
Yeah. Well, Slaughter's going to come back. He's probably not a pro. Yeah, but that's right.
So it's on the offensive side, too, in terms of the trenches. I mean, he's just done a really nice job of building that up. I mean, just look at his freshman class this year. I mean, you've got Lagway, Jaden Baugh, Tank Hawkins. You've got Barreau, the defensive tackle that I think is going to be a good player.
Very good. For 350 pounds.
LJ McCray, who's already showing flashes that he's going to be sensational. Miles Graham and Aaron Childs, as you mentioned. So, I mean, and those are guys that just arrived.
Right.
And so, obviously, there's a tremendous nucleus of young talent here. And then, you go through the rest of the roster and really nowhere you're looking at it and saying, my God, who's going to be playing there, next fall. I mean, obviously they'll look to upgrade the roster through the portal and things like that, but you're looking to sign 6-7 guys. You're not looking to sign 20 by any stretch of the imagination, like some teams will be. And, and they've got now a very good group of recruits coming in. If these guys all sign, we'll find out Wednesday. But, I mean, in looking at it, the future's incredibly bright. But I'm with you. At this point, if I was Billy Napier, you fix special teams, and he deserves a ton of credit for that. They were outstanding all year after being a real sore spot.
Agreed.
I
think he fixed defense. I think when they finally figured it out, they got good on defense.
I would agree. So if I was Billy Napier, I would look at this thing and say, the next thing, my next step in my evolution as a big-time head coach is to delegate the offense to somebody else. Because really, with the talent they have and it being Florida, he's going to have a great group of candidates. It needs to be somebody that Lagway is comfortable with, but I can't imagine that, that Napier's hire wouldn't be, but I would do that. I think that's sort of the next missing thing, because when you think about Florida's offense, they are able to establish a ground game consistently, but you need to see more. They don't fool the opponent all that often. I mean, it's when they do have something happen, like even look at the plays Lagway made the other day. How often are you going to throw a 280-pound defensive lineman off of you?
Oh, my God. That play was amazing.
It was incredible, right? And make that play. And then there was another one where he's rolling out, getting pressured, just flicks his wrist, and it goes 29 yards on a dime over a defensive back for a completion on the boundary. Like, a lot of the stuff that they get through the air is really been Lagway playing above the X's and O's. It hasn't had a lot to do with a great scheme. And I would say even when Mertz was in there, I didn't notice a great play calling edge. It was, Mertz will hit the stuff that's there, the short intermediate stuff. They never could figure out the deep ball. So, again, if Napier doesn't do it, it's not something I'm going to, bash him for. But my advice would be, look, obviously you've got something potentially really special going into the future now, and I would delegate it. Obviously, they've got the resources there to go get a $2 million offensive coordinator, and that's what I would do. I would go get somebody that's young, up and coming, knows where the sport is going. I wouldn't go get retread.
Agreed.
Gus Malzahn at FSU. I wouldn't go that direction. Yeah. I would go get somebody that is innovative, And then I think it'd be really interesting to see where Florida can go because, again, you did finish 10th in this league. And the idea is to win the SEC title,
right?
Or at least be in contention for it. So there's still, and Napier concedes that there's still a lot of work to be done. But I agree with you. I would try and bring in a dynamic mind to run that offense.
The biggest thing they have to do now is develop Lagway. DJ Lagway is great at the unbelievable off-schedule plays. He's unbelievable. And those go viral, which is why he gets the attention. But at some point, he's got to be able to go complete 22 out of 26 for 315 and 4 touchdowns.
Can't miss Badger in the end zone on that play.
Can't miss Badger in the end zone. And then you got to – correct. So someone's got to develop him, right? I mean, he's got 11 touchdowns and 7 picks. Graham Mertz had 26 and 5. But Graham Mertz is 23 years old and had a chance to develop. And by the way, not having the deep ball with Mertz, in retrospect, that had to be on Mertz because it's obviously there. I mean, one thing we have seen now is that it's there. I kept saying no one's there, because we're not at the games. You know, if you're not at the games, you only see what's on TV. But obviously the deep ball's there because Lagway has proven that. Mertz is, but I want a guy that can do both. Yeah, I want to give me a guy that can. So someone's got to develop because who knows how good Lagway can be if they develop him. Who knows? So, all right, quick thought before we go to break. I want to say this about Florida State. We'll talk more about it as we go. Number one, and I'm not trolling, I can't believe how bad Florida State is. I've never watched. I watch their games, but I don't watch. I'm not going to be. I'll be honest. I don't watch them like I do Florida games. Watch every play. Watch it again. I watch Florida State. I can't believe how bad their talent has gotten.
8 fumbles.
Yeah, 8 fumbles, and I'm not surprised. And they had no chance to block Florida's pass rushers. No, they had no chance. You look like you were playing Samford. They had no chance to block their pass rushers. I can't. And again, Nole fans, I'm not trying to troll. I'm giving you I
think they'd agree.
Yeah, I can't believe how bad Florida State's football team got. Now, I'll tell you this. I love the quarterback. I thought Kromenhoek looked good to me.
He looked great.
I think he's got a chance. Here's what you got to do. You better keep him. Because what you don't need is Luke Kromenhoek saying, and I have no idea. I don't know the kid, but he's pretty good now. Big, strong, spins it beautifully, athletic as heck, tough, accurate. He's good, but you don't want him to say, okay, if I stay here 2 more years, it's 2. We just want 1-8, the guy at ACC. If we don't get
dead
this
last.
Right. So what you don't want to do is look up and he's at Texas A&M or Clemson.
So you don't think they'll bring a portal guy in?
Well, that's the question.
Because if they do, I mean, he's probably,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the one thing if I'm an FSU fan, I think this guy might be really good. The one thing I don't want to look up, and he's the Nebraska quarterback, the A&M quarterback, the Michigan quarterback. He's like really good. And I didn't realize he was an Elite 11 guy. He was the top 5. I didn't know that. Shame on me.
He was sort of a late bloomer.
Yeah, but boy, he's good. Nobody else on the team's good. I was so surprised, and I'll give them credit. Their defensive. I thought they played hard against Florida. I thought they played tough. I thought they hung in there. It wasn't an effort issue. I thought their defensive line harassed Lagway. I didn't think Lagway had a lot of clean pockets.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't drop a punt,
correct, right?
Who knows where the game goes?
And not only drop a punt, but if they don't fumble at the 8-yard line,
10-17
when they're about to make it 17-10, right? So they play. Give them credit. FSU got after it. This wasn't a guys that didn't care.
This wasn't 31-0,
right.
And then FSU scored 11 garbage points.
That's exactly right. Well said. This was almost 17-10, and then they made another unforced error. So, but it'll be very interesting to watch FSU as they move forward. I really like the quarterback. The Malzahn thing was puzzling to me. I don't think he's terrible. This is just like going and getting. I mean, this is now the trend. Arkansas goes and gets Bob Petrino in his last leg to call plays. Ohio State goes and gets Chip Kelly, who failed miserably as a head coach, to come call plays.
Yeah, that worked out well.
Yeah, FSU went out and got Gus Malzahn. That's now the trend. Go get the old veteran guy before he hangs it up to make one more run at calling plays. But that one surprised me, so we'll see. All right,
Listen to this about FSU just really quick. So they did finish 130th in scoring offense out of 133 teams.
That's amazing.
It really is, at 15.4 points per game. There were 88 schools in Division I football that averaged at least 10 points more per game than FSU. They were 130th also on third down offensively at 28.8%.
Until Florida, when they completed like half of them or whatever it was.
They had a quarterback, none of their quarterbacks threw for 1,100 yards, which I've never seen. I mean, other than like if you're a wing T wishbone kind of offense. So no quarterback threw for 1,100 yards. They made up for it by no running back was over 500 yards, and they didn't have a receiver go for more than 520 yards. There was just nothing redeemable about the offense at all.
And
I mean, Gus Malzahn, good luck. Mike Norvell, good luck. I wasn't dazzled by Kromenhoek like you. I mean, he's a tough kid,
he's really
and
good.
there's certainly something there.
Yeah.
And they will have to. I'm sure that he'll get calls
I
from
thought he was
teams
really good.
that had nice seasons. But what's and I have to assume they're going to lose a decent amount of that defensive front. But I mean, it could be very lean there next year.
Well, that's the thing is, and again, I think the most important recruit Mike Norvell's got is Luke Kromenhoek. Now, maybe he loves FSU, and maybe he's like Lagway. He's going to help recruit to it. I don't know, but boy, I was surprised that that FSU was what I saw. And again, I thought they played hard. I thought their defensive line played a good game. I thought they hung in there. It's just they were so overmatched against a good but far from great Florida team. They were so overmatched.
An average Florida team played a C- game and won in Doak by 20 points.
Yeah, odd stuff. Let's take a break. Bucky Brooks joins us to talk more Jaguar football after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
After the game, join Hacker, Leon, and Coach Campo for the Window World of Northeast Florida 5th Quarter, presented by Von Rowan Lawn and Hurricane Grill and Wings. 2 hours after the final whistle on game day on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Picking here for Bout 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bout 9. Visit Bout 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bout 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
The 1010XL restaurant of the day is Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island. Enjoy Monday Night Football with freshly made pizza, burgers, wings, sandwiches, and a full liquor bar at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island.
Any action? Find more fish on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
That's a big redfish, guys.
With Captain Kevin Faber.
Oh, my gosh.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
For birthdays, anniversaries, or any situation that requires something really special, visit the Kuhn Flowers showroom on Beach Boulevard and select something that you can't find anywhere else. 1010XL's Andrew Gibson here, and that's the direction I head, Kuhn Flowers.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Our first contestant, a stay-at-home gymnast from Jacksonville, Florida. It's Gwendolyn Pierce.
Thank you, Monty. I don't know who installed my air conditioner, but it hasn't had a tune-up in over 3 years. Am I cool?
Let's ask our expert judging panel. Judges? Oh, I'm sorry, Gwendolyn. You're not cool. Johnny, tell her why.
That's right. To keep your air conditioner performing at its best, you need a skilled technician to check your pressures, voltages, and air filters in the fall and the spring. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, our club members get 2 free visits a year to make sure that you are cool.
Can you tell me if my haircut is sexy?
You're better off not asking.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about being a peacemaker. Friends, so often we can only want to help people who are in our inner circle. But God never had inner circles. The world was his inner circle, and he's depending on us to make a difference and to leave our mark in this life. So go out today receiving his peace and then sharing it with the world.
To hear more inspirational messages by Reverend Dr. Nicholas Lowe, please visit our website at stjohnthedivine.com.
David Lane here again for Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. After several surgeries for age-old issues, mainly my back and shoulders, there's no doubt that Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is my sustaining resource for living pain-free. Take it from me, and I'm being really honest here, there's no better orthopedic facility here in Jacksonville.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. In years past, Georgia versus Georgia Tech has been a cakewalk game for the Dogs, but that was not the case on Friday night as the Yellow Jackets took them to a near-record 8 overtimes. Georgia Tech held the Dogs to a scoreless first half for the first time since 2019. The two teams went back and forth into the night before the Bulldogs finally held them and punched it in. Here's Kirby Smart after that once-in-a-lifetime game.
No, I have not. Anything like this. They got a really good football team, really physical football team, and they really out-physicaled us tonight. Their quarterback is a dang warrior, and I have so much respect for the way Brent and them play. But our kids, they are resilient as hell. They never quit, never say die. It was sloppy. These fans stayed with us. Just a great game.
It's 58 degrees at 5:08. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
The buck stops here. Time now for Bucky Brooks, brought to you by Coyle & Sons, Jacksonville's commercial fence specialist, on The Frangie Show.
Coyle & Sons, the best in the business. They've been doing it here since 1927. If you need commercial fencing, if you need overhead doors, nobody does a better job and has for the longest time. You can find out more about them at CoyleJacks.com or call them at 904-356-4821. That's 904-356-4821. I can tell you my buddy Eric owns the company, and he was about to come out of the stands yesterday, too. So I think all Jaguar fans feel the same way about that. So we thank our friends from Coyle & Sons. Let's bring in my buddy Bucky Brooks, who joins us now on the program. Bucky, look, you've seen a lot of football. You played it a long time at the highest level. Where did that cheap shot rank for you, man? It ranked high for me. I lost my mind as you heard calling it, and I still can't believe it. What about you?
Frank, I'm going to say this. I'm going to couch it because I put a post on Twitter
letting everyone know how I really felt about the hit. And I got a little pushback from some people, but here's what I would say, Frank. Like, the beauty of this game is a bit of the chess match, but also the blood sport of the game. And there are certain codes that exist within every sport. In baseball, you hit my guy, I'm going to hit your guy. In hockey, if you hit the star, the goons are on the next line change. They're going to take care of whoever hit the star. In football, the same thing goes. It's just like chess. In chess, the number one thing you do is protect the king. And so when your franchise quarterback leaves the pocket and takes a slide, and their guy not only hits him, but knocks him out the game, Frank, it is on. And it is on every time we see the Texans from here on. Not advocating the kind of violence that, like, people are talking about. But, hey, man, they knocked your franchise quarterback out the game. That means the intensity ratchets up, the physicality ratchets up. Man, there shouldn't be collective bro hugs at the end of the game. It is now ventured into a personal realm. And so for me, as a Jaguar and on the sideline, I can express that I was a little disappointed because I know if we're playing the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore, we hit Lamar Jackson like that, hey, head for cover because it's going down. We hit Patrick Mahomes like that at Arrowhead, head for cover because they're coming out of everywhere. Same thing with Josh Allen and anybody. So what I want people to understand, when your franchise quarterback gets hit like that, there are no questions, there are no fine considerations. It's on. And sometimes you have to take matters into your own hands within the confines of the rules.
I love your take. And, you know, the great irony of this, Hays, Bucky and I were hanging out in the broadcast booth before the game talking about retaliation in baseball. And I grew up in baseball. And so Bucky's strong comments, I appreciate your comments very much.
Absolutely. And Bucky, I don't know if you've seen this. DeMeco Ryans met with reporters in Houston just a little bit ago and said the part of his statement in defending his guy was also to add that he felt like the Jaguars overreacted. What's your opinion on that?
Of course they're going to do that because there's a lack of respect between DeMeco Ryan, that team, and us. And it was clearly indicative when they hit him like that because, look, man, you know when you flip that switch and you hit that quarterback like that, you fully expect the game to go to another level. DeMeco Ryans is wherever within his right to protect his guy and to say, hey, man, it was a late slide and this and the overreaction. Let us hit C.J. Stroud like that. In fact, let's see C.J. Stroud get hit like that in the postseason and see what kind of reaction and what kind of kumbaya take he gives at the podium. Nah, that's not it. And he knows better because he's a defender. Look, man, it all goes out the window when you hit the quarterback like that. People can take a hard hit well within the rules, but that was a dirty hit because Trevor gave himself up and the guy cold-cocked him. There's no way that he can explain it any other way.
I totally agree. In fact, it's one of the cheapest shots I've ever seen. And look, the forearm is all the evidence you need. If he was trying to avoid it, you know, Bucky, guy slides. Sometimes the player's already started his tackle, so he tries to avoid it, and there's still contact. There's still a penalty, but you could tell he was trying not to do it. The forearm made it clear it was intentional. Even if he's sliding when Trevor's sliding and everyone's trying to avoid it, just pull your hands away, and if your bodies collide, you get your 15 yards, but it's not vicious. Didn't the forearm prove to everybody he was trying to take his head off?
Okay, so in sports, like you issue warning shots, right?
Yeah.
So a baseball pitcher may throw it high and tight. If you're crowding the plate,
right.
Hey, buddy, back up. Oh, wow, the chin music. You're trying to turn two. A guy comes with his spikes up. What do? You throw a little submarine at the first base, and you make him duck down. So if the Texans defender really wanted to send a warning, he could do a flyover for Trevor to let him know, hey, man, that was late. But what he did is he fully hit him, elbow up under the chin. And all the I'm sorry, hey, man, look, this game is played between the lines. And when those things happen, look, you don't say anything. You say, okay, that's how we playing today. You changed the tenor of the conversation. You've changed the intensity of the game. And so from my standpoint, it's not about, like, fights breaking out, but it's about making sure that when they take it to that level, we go beyond it. And we've seen it because we've done it against the Tennessee Titans in the past. Like, we understand in division games, it's a little different. So my disappointment in a division game, hey, man, we're not shaking hands and doing all that. It's personal, and it should be personal from here to the eternity. It should always be like that when we play the Texans.
That is this is a passion it takes from you today, and I appreciate that very much. We move forward now. What is the effect of this game? What effect does this game have on the next 5 games? Now, the obvious question is that depends on whether or not Trevor plays again, and I get that. So that's on the field. But what about emotionally? Is there an effect of this game? Are the Jaguars a more driven or more emotional team after what happened to Trevor? Does that not affect them at all? Is it just another game, these next 5? How do you see that, Bucky?
Man, I don't know. Like, Frank, it's such an interesting bunch of players. And I love the players we have, man. By all accounts, man, they're great dudes, right? Like, we have great dudes who do great stuff in the community. And we got some dudes that are, like, the best compliment you can give a player that are some dogs. I think the dogs have to lead the team from this point forward. Like, regardless of who plays quarterback, if it's Mac Jones, C.J. Beathard, whatever, like, you got to be ready to play. When you're a professional, you sign up to play 17 games and anything else that is thrown on your schedule. So I expect these guys to come out, be professional. I would say that now that the quarterback is dealing with a shoulder injury and a concussion, man, it might be hard to put him out there, particularly when you don't have playoffs on the line. Regardless of whether he plays, though, I would expect everyone to play at a high level because, let's be honest, no one knows what the end of the season holds. And so your performance, your tape is your resume. Everybody better step it up because if anything does happen, the first thing they're going to do is go look at the last few games and see who played well, who didn't, who deserves to be a core Jaguar, and who are you going to move on from.
What did you make of Joe Mixon getting 28 yards on 5 carries on a drive where the Jaguars know they're going to run and know they've got to get him off the field to have a chance to win the game?
I mean, it's been part of a problem that we've had all year. Like, man, we lost 7 one-score games, and a lot of times in those games that we lost is being able to come down and execute when the pressure is at its highest. And we haven't been able to do it. And a situation where Joe Mixon was obviously going to get the ball. C.J. Stroud didn't have one of his better games. You know, you got to stop the run. And we were unable to do it. And it's been a theme the entire year. It's something that in the offseason we got to look at. We got to look at team, personnel, overall approach. But right now it's disappointing that in these closeout moments, we're unable to close out games.
I found, and I said this at the top of our program today, Bucky, that there's a look. When you're 2-10, a lot of things went wrong. A lot of play calling went wrong. A lot of playing went wrong. A lot of players, a lot of stuff went wrong. But if I had to put my finger on one thing, it's the lack of physicality in both trenches. And I thought a microcosm of that was that last play. We just talked about it. It was 3rd and 4. They weren't going to pass it. It was the old student body left, man. They tossed it left to Mixon. It was mano-a-mano, my guys blocking your guys, and he ran for 8 yards. And if you stuff him at the line of scrimmage, you have a chance to win. And I almost thought it was fitting, Bucky, because I think that's what went wrong more than anything to me is the lines of scrimmage haven't been very good. Agree or disagree?
I completely agree. And one of the things that you do when you're building your team, whether it's front office, coaching staff, you examine the landscape of the conference and the division, and you build a team to be the teams that you're going to face the most. So when you look at the teams that are in the division, look, they're going to be physical football teams. When you look at the other teams that are in the AFC, with the Ravens and some of those other teams, Pittsburgh, you got to be a physical team, and it starts in the trenches. And so the one thing that you look at and that we'll have to continue to look at, are we built the right way? Are we calling it and coaching it the right way? And do we have the right guys to do the things that we need to do to win? And so when you're 2-10, everyone has to be accountable for the shortcomings. And so that's everyone in the organization, even me. I got to figure out how to be better on the sideline. It's all the same. Like when you lose the way that we've lost, we all have to do some examination to see what we can do to be a better team.
What's your initial thoughts on the Titans?
Man, I'm still smarting over the loss. What I would say about the Titans is, like, they're very similar to us in terms of, like, they've been struggling. They've had some issues and those things. But the one thing that shows up is they're going to play hard. And let's be honest, man, these are division games. And we understand how contentious that rivalry is between the Titans and the Jacks. Regardless of the records, it doesn't matter. Both teams want to win. Both teams don't like each other. Like, we're going to have some players, Arden Key and Calvin Ridley, that feel like they were wrong when they weren't brought back. So I expect it to be a very emotional affair, and we have to not only meet their intensity, we got to exceed their intensity. And, so, man, people are talking about playing for draft picks or whatever. What I can tell you, because what we all feel, man, 10 losses are a lot of losses. It's tough each week preparing and playing a game and losing. So you just want to win, man, to get off of the snide. You just want to get that bitter taste out your mouth. So hopefully we can put together a plan that gives us a win.
We hope so. Bucky Brooks checking in, talking Jaguar football. Bucky, we appreciate it, man. See you in National. Thanks, buddy.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Bucky Brooks does a terrific job. Always brought to you by Coyle & Sons. Again, if you need commercial fencing of any kind, those overhead doors of any kind, give them a call. They've been doing it a long time, and nobody does it better than Coyle & Sons Fence Company. I want you to call them at 904-356-4821, 356-4821, or find out all about that terrific company at coiljacks.com. Hayes has headlines on the other side. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
He'll cross the line into the danger zone so you can be informed from the safety of home.
Out here, it's military law, and I'm in charge of enforcing it.
Hays Carlyon takes you behind enemy lines. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. Woolsey Morecambe is your MVP in the legal game. Our team of skilled attorneys tackle personal injury cases with compassion and expertise. With fumbles like a car or truck accident, we're here to seek the compensation you deserve. Right here in Jacksonville, we've successfully won over $100 million and earned a championship-worthy record. When it's game time, you want a team that plays to win. Contact Woolsey Morecambe at 1-800-WOOLSEY. Offices, Jacksonville.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you heard? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are aiming to sell 1,000 vehicles this December. How? I've told my team to take all reasonable offers. We won't lose your business over price. With thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the ground, all priced to sell, we guarantee the most money for your trade and the easiest car buying experience ever. I promise we ain't leaving nothing on the table. This is the absolute last weekend. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores.
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJacks.com. I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 23rd.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Zahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Spend lunchtime with the ladies.
A meal and sparkling conversation.
Helmets and heels.
Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
Just behave, okay?
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. What a weekend we just had in the betting streets. Did you cash in betting with MyBookie? If you didn't, well, you have Monday Night Football tonight. The Cleveland Browns are on extra rest, traveling to play the Denver Broncos. Both of these teams are coming off a win, and the Broncos are 5.5-point favorites with a 42-point over-under. The Broncos have been taking care of business against teams with a losing record. I'd expect them to win by a touchdown and cover the spread at home against Jameis Winston and the Browns. Guys, MyBookie has the best sign-up bonus in the industry for Florida bettors. Our listeners can just sign up and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit up to $1,000. That's promo code 1010XL to claim your double deposit bonus for Monday Night Football. Bet anywhere, anytime, and make your season a winning season with MyBookie. Don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
I'm living proof that with Rebound Rehab, you can bounce back and get back in the game. Joe C. for Rebound Rehabilitation, and they helped me recover from an ankle injury that had me down and out. Their team of physical therapists ensure you'll get the best treatment you need to recover and regain mobility. From back, shoulder, and neck pain to a nagging knee or arthritis, Rebound Rehab can help form a game plan through therapy and exercise, complete with an app so you can continue to recover at home. Check out reboundrehab.com. 8 convenient locations.
Hey, it's Angela and Brian Wall. How many companies do you know in this day and age that actually want their potential customers to call their competition and get quotes from them?
That's what WindoWorld wants you to do. WindoWorld knows there are other window companies out there, but we also know those other guys. When compared to WindoWorld, they can't offer you the quality at the price that WindoWorld can.
And with WindoWorld, you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement business.
If anything goes wrong with your new WindoWorld windows, 5 years from now, 10, 15, 50, WindoWorld and I will be there to fix it for you. You get peace of mind with WindoWorld, and to top it off, WindoWorld windows increase the value of your home. So look what you get with WindoWorld. Quality windows, low price, the best guarantee in the business, energy savings, and an increase in the value of your home. A win-win for you.
Call WindowWorld today and get your free in-home estimate or see them online at windowworldneflorida.com.
WindoWorld. Simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. We've got Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva. I'm Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, the Jaguars fall to 2-10 with a 23-20 loss to the Texans. Only the Raiders and Giants are also 2-10 in the league. The Jaguars now 3-15 in their last 18 games.
Yeah, it's just a tough go. As you look back, I told someone this today. I was on Nashville radio today because they get set for the Titans and they get set to playoffs. It's the most surprised I've been of my 11 years calling the games and really of the 30 years following the team. We've had some bad teams, but not one that we all expected to be good. I hate it for them. I hate it for Doug. I hate it for Trevor. I hate it for Shad. I hate that they're going through it. But I'm really surprised it went this badly. I would not have guessed this. I was way wrong.
Obviously, the play everybody's talking about from the loss, Trevor Lawrence concussed on a cheap shot by Houston linebacker Azeez Al-Shahir. NFL executive John Runyon will make the decision on a possible suspension. What do you think Runyon should do?
I think it should be a minimum of 2 games. I prefer 3 games. I think realistically it's going to be 1 game. Typically what the league does, and again, Houston was all in damage control today, DeMeco Ryans and Al-Shahir himself. But if it was me, I'd like to see 3 games. I think the NFL has a chance to send a very strong message here. Are they willing to send that message? That's the question.
The Jaguars extended left tackle Walker Little on Sunday morning. Kind of odd timing there, not only doing the deal in season, but also announcing it the day of a game. But Walker Little gets 3 years, $45 million with $26 million guaranteed. Not bad for a guy who has never won a job in training camp.
Yeah. Look, if he's the guy that you think can be your left tackle, that's a premium position. Might as well lock him up now before anybody else can pay him. So I get it. I was surprised at the timing of it. I probably wouldn't have guessed that they were going to do that. But they've got some positions to fill, and once Cam Robinson's gone, someone's got to be your left tackle. It's a premium position. So I guess if you believe in your guy, you should go do it. I'm a little surprised by the timing. But, hey, look, he's an athletic guy. He's a guy that can be a very good player. I hope he does great.
As the Doug Peterson era erodes here in Jacksonville, we're starting to see attrition on his staff. Jaguars running back coach Jerry Mack was announced as the new head coach at Kennesaw State. That announcement came midway through the second quarter.
Yeah, I think I didn't know when it came, I think Jerry wants to be. Jerry McElroy is a good coach. He's done a very good job with both Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby. He's a very well respected, one of the most respected coaches on the staff. And I think he'll be a good head coach.
Let's get to the AFC South. The Colts stunned the Patriots. Anthony Richardson playing good football. They win 26-25 to improve to 6-7. Meanwhile, the Titans get embarrassed by Washington, 42-19, to fall to 3-9.
Yeah, I think as it did last year, it looks like there's going to be a battle down the stretch, or could be, between the Texans and the Colts. I'll give the Colts credit. They look left for dead. Richardson, the pulling himself out of the game. Flacco comes in, plays great, then doesn't play so well. Richardson comes back. Usually when stuff like that happens, that many musical chairs, your season's a throwaway. And look, 6-7, they're in it. They're clear. If we were 6-7, we'd be talking about how much we're in it.
It feels like I talk about a San Francisco injury almost every edition of Headlines, and why stop the tradition now? Star running back Christian McCaffrey suffers a PCL injury as the 49ers get routed by Buffalo 35-10 on Sunday Night Football. McCaffrey has been placed on injured reserve, so probably not going to see him for the rest of the year. The Bills clinch the AFC East while San Francisco drops to 5-7. Oh, by the way, in addition to McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, the backup running back, suffered a high ankle sprain. He also is going on IR in San Francisco.
I was watching, I'm sure you were too, live when McCaffrey got the toss. And the minute he got the ball, you could see it. He got on the ground quickly.
I thought he popped his Achilles again.
Yeah, you thought it would be. You knew right then and there it was really significant. I felt for him. He went right to the ground. You knew right then and there. I say knew. You had a pretty good feeling right then and there we had seen this season of Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, and you have to now wonder. I mean, obviously he gets paid a lot of money. He's getting. I think he's 29. You have to wonder. I mean, anytime a running back is of that age and has a season like this, you wonder if the body is done. So we'll see.
Tough position.
It really is.
Tough position.
And he's been a great player, but Father Time is undefeated. We'll see what McCaffrey can be like moving forward, but not probably going to see him for the rest of this year. We have another head coach opening. This is some housekeeping from the Thanksgiving break, but the Bears fired Matt Eberflus on Friday following his just disastrous late-game decision-making in a Thursday loss where the Bears just basically let the final 35 seconds run out. The Saints, Jets, and Bears now open, Frank.
I will tell you this. Matt Eberflus at the end of the game. Okay. You don't call timeout. You think your quarterback, let's hurry up and get a play. I get it. The minute it's clear that's not happening, you call it. So maybe you get it called with 18 seconds instead of 28. Okay, you lost 10 seconds, but it's clear. It's clear. Caleb's flustered a little bit. We got to get it called. I was stunned. I was absolutely. And again, say what you want about Doug Peterson. He's really good at that. The game management, the sideline game management, he's as good as there is. Most coaches in the NFL know when to call it, when not to call it, how to call it, how to. I was stunned. I almost couldn't believe it. Were you that way?
Oh yeah, it was one of the most embarrassing gaffes I've ever seen a head coach have in the NFL.
Yeah, because you had so much time to correct it.
Right, and you're gonna pull the upset.
Right, but correct. But you've got all this time to. Okay, I get it. Let's go snap it quick. Let's snap it quick. But it was clear that's not where Caleb Williams was. When it was clear, you had 10 seconds or 15 seconds to correct it, and just did it. It was wild.
It really was. Monday Night Football tonight, Cleveland at Denver. The Browns are 3-8. The Broncos 7-5. Will you watch?
Yes, I will watch, and I'll absolutely watch. And Bo Nix has been a great story. Bo Nix,
he's the reason really to watch.
Yeah. He's been a great story. Look, if you really look at his story, he's at Auburn. Things went bad, not awful at Auburn. Brian Harsin.
I thought he was terrible.
Yeah, well, he had some terrible moments. The Georgia games, he was awful. But Brian Harsin not only ruined him, but ran him off. Brian Harsin, who Auburn people will tell you is the worst coach they've ever had, and he goes to Oregon, it's fantastic. But still, people weren't quite sure would he be in the pros because of Auburn. He's been terrific.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been really, and I think the sky's the limit for him. He's only a rookie. What's he going to be in 4 years? I think he's a really good player.
Absolutely. Denver looks like they're going to be a problem for years to come. Let's get to college football. The Gators suffocate the Seminoles 31-11. UF defense forces 5 turnovers, records 8 sacks. The Gators now lead the series 38-28-2.
Yeah, the story of that game, Florida didn't play very well, but still won easily. Florida's turning the corner. A lot of really good young players, linemen, front 7 guys. The amount they keep losing guys and keep bringing guys in, and he's really built a young nucleus of players. There's still some work to be done with the offense and the planning, but that stood out to me. I thought Luke Kromenhoek was really good. I thought he's better than I thought he would be. Lagway is still going to be good. But the other thing that jumped off the page for me, boy, Florida State, how did they get that bad? And I know the flag, you're probably coming up with the flag planning thing. I got a bunch of thoughts on that. Mike Norvell's frustration, but how did Florida State get that bad? I'm still incredulous.
What'd you think of the flag planning?
I think teams need to stop. 2 thoughts. These teams need to stop planting flags because they cause fights. It's obvious now when you try and plant a flag, there's going to be a fight. And I think the NCAA can do away with it very quickly. Rule is any player who plants a flag is immediately suspended, and any team that does it loses X scholarships or whatever. I think the NCAA can put in a rule very quickly, and that'll take care of it.
Did you see what Texas A&M did?
Yeah, they did.
They had the police.
Yeah, right.
Standing right in midfield.
Wow.
Because everybody was watching that Ohio State-Michigan game at noon.
Yeah,
all these
Correct.
teams saw that and were like, I know what I'm doing tonight.
Right. So I think it became a thing. It needs to stop because it's causing fights. I think the NCAA puts in a rule. I'll say this about Mike Norvell. He overreacted, but it's been a hard year. They've lost. It's the worst season in his school history, or certainly the worst since the 70s. It's been a tough year. He was humiliated. Then he felt like they humiliated him even worse. He bowed up to Billy Napier. I want to believe, because they shook hands at the end, that when Billy Napier said, I didn't know my guy was going to do that and it won't happen again, that Norvell will understand that. So I understand Norvell's part. I think they need to get rid of it. Having said all that, I do agree with my Gator brethren a little bit. If you cut up sod at the other person's field, then you got to kind of deal with it when they win at your field. Now I understand this is more public and more inciting, and I get it. But, and I mean, if you're going to cut sod, if you're going to have a sod cemetery and you're going to tear up parts of somebody else's field, then you got to kind of deal with it when they do what they do when they win at your place. So I, in fairness to the Florida people, I understand that side of it and I agree with it, but I got where Norvell was. It's been an awful year for the Noles, and that was one more humiliating thing at the end.
I think the biggest thing is shake hands first, let the teams kind of clear, and then if you want to go plant a flag, but don't do it before the teams have even gotten to midfield to exchange hands.
But it's an easy fix. The NCAA comes up with a rule. Next player that plants a flag is suspended. Well, guess what? Nobody will plant a flag.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That would definitely do it. Speaking of Florida State, they do finish 2-10, but help is on the way. They have hired former UCF coach Gus Malzahn to be the offensive coordinator. The Noles are also reportedly adding Nebraska defensive coordinator Tony White to the same role. He will bring with him former Jaguar Terrence Knighton to be Florida State's defensive line coach. So Mike Norvell wasting no time after a 10-loss season to add to his staff. And, I don't really like the Malzahn hire, but I think Tony White's a pretty good hire.
Well, here's what he did. He, like a lot of coaches, Billy Napier included, his staff was a bunch of his guys. Young guys were my guys. Young guys. Well, now he went and hired some grown-ups. He's about to get fired. Mike Norvell probably knows.
Malzahn might be the interim by week 7.
Yeah, he's got to know. He's got to know that if he doesn't get to 7 or 8 wins next year, he's out. And so this last-ditch effort, I better go out and get some grown-ups to help coach my football team. And we'll see. I don't think Malzahn's a terrible football coach. I don't think that's a terrible hire. It's a curious hire, and I'll be interested to see. Well, Malzahn was a good coordinator. He wasn't a great head coach because he was trying to do too much. I'll be interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and kind of a tough look, I think, for UCF.
Yeah,
to have
no
your
question.
Head coach leave to go be a coordinator,
just like UCLA.
Yeah,
UCLA had their head coach leave to go be a coordinator.
Yeah, that's not good. Even I know it didn't go well for Malzahn. He was 4-8 this year at UCF, but still, that's certainly a tough look. We mentioned this game earlier, but I'm curious, Frank, we never really hit this. So Georgia wins a thriller 44-42 over Georgia Tech in 8 overtimes. Where does that one rank for you? I mean, is that one of the best ones you've ever seen?
It is. Now, college football, because of the overtime structure, delivers an awful lot of those. There's an awful lot. But, yeah, for me, because of the magnitude of the game, because of the two teams are local, that I know both of them, because it was a Friday night when nothing else going on, so everybody was watching it. Yeah, it was one of the best games I've ever saw, one of the most compelling games I've ever seen. We've seen some really compelling games in college football. But, yes, it was one of the best games I've ever seen. If you take my emotional attachment away, it's hard for me to top 97 Florida FSU. It's hard, but if you take the where I don't have a dog in the fight, it might be as good as I've seen.
The Canes can't hold a 21-0 lead in a 42-38 loss at Syracuse, blowing their chances at the ACC title and perhaps the college football playoff. So it will be SMU Clemson for the ACC championship.
J.J. LaSelva, who hails from Ocala Forest High, there in Central Florida, called this one. I mean, never wavered. It's not like, JJ, it's not like you said, look, this one's going to be sticky. You said Syracuse is going to beat Miami.
Even at 21-0, I was not.
Really?
I knew it was so early, man.
Yeah.
And they had a touchdown called back on the first drive, and it was a head-scratching penalty.
Yeah.
Like, they're an elite offense. Kyle McCord is great. I know Ohio State fans have to be thinking, like, how the hell did we get rid of him for Will Howard?
Yeah.
Because he leads the NCAA in passing this year. Yeah, Guidry's got to be out as a defensive coordinator. To waste a talent like Cam Ward because your offense can't get like 3 freaking stops in these games, it sucked. But I saw it coming a mile away.
You did?
Yeah, and quickly, a big flip for Florida against Miami right now. They just got the Stubbs kid
Safety.
from Mandarin.
Wow.
Yeah,
Which was rumored all today, but it's been official, and a lot of people think that might get French going there as well. So
it's amazing. And I saw yesterday that somebody crystal balled. Little recruiting talk for you there. It's free of charge. Somebody crystal balled Stubbs to Florida yesterday.
Right.
And it's amazing the way they turn around. By the way, real quick, I know you got a couple more. Miami in or out right now?
Out.
Miami in or out?
Out.
Okay.
I think they're going to put Bama in, and they don't belong in. I'm sorry.
Right,
I don't think Bama does either. But, I don't think Miami's in.
We have to get to this. Michigan stuns Ohio State in Columbus 13-10.
They weren't happy in the horseshoe.
Oh, my goodness.
Just here to tell you they weren't happy there.
You've got a famous phrase, you can't lose this one.
Right.
Is Ryan Day now the king of you can't lose this game?
There's games you have to win, and there's games you better not lose. This was the quintessential game you better not lose. I think they could fire him. I think despite the fact that he's 87-0 against everybody else, okay?
He better win the national title this year.
I think they could fire him. I think there's a belief now that it's getting stale there, and I think they could fire him.
That would be unbelievable to see that job open and the candidates it would attract. We will get you out on our musical nugget of the day. On this date, back in 1983, Michael Jackson's Thriller video debuts on MTV. Trust me when I tell you I was 7 years old. This was a rush home and watch. It was appointment TV for everyone at school. MTV played it every 2 hours. It's one of it's probably the greatest music video of all time. It's basically a short film directed by John Landis. Really kind of scary.
Pretty amazing, though.
And a fantastic song.
One of the greatest videos of all time. You're exactly right. And by the way, where I thought you were going there, since you've talked about concerts here, I thought you were going with the Victory Tour.
Yeah.
The Jackson's Victory Tour. When I was there.
Yeah, that'll be on that day. I've got it down.
Good. I want you to. Great work as always. We'll wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The penultimate college football playoff committee rankings are coming out on Tuesday night prior to conference championship weekend in the sport. Regular season is in the books, and the betting odds to win the national championship favor the number one team in the country. That's Oregon at plus 350. Ohio State, despite losing to Michigan to close out the regular season, second betting favorite at plus 425. Georgia is plus 450. Texas will play Georgia in the SEC title game, also plus 450. Notre Dame at 11-1 plus 900. Penn State will play Oregon in the Big Ten title game plus 1100 to win the national title. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Hi, this is Jeff Norman.
And I'm Mike Jones.
And we are the owners of Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
With the holiday season upon us, we want to take a moment to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and say thank you to our amazing customers.
We're so grateful for the trust you place in us each year. It's been a pleasure serving you, and we hope you have a wonderful holiday season with family and friends.
And remember, if you have any issues, we'll be here to help throughout the holidays and beyond.
Merry Christmas from all of us at Duck Duck Rooter.
Yo, what's happening, fellas? It's your boy E to the T, and I'm going to keep it real. We could all benefit from a little something extra in the bedroom. Blue Chew can help. Now I'm about to tell you how you can get some for free. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. No doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew ships right to your door in a discreet package. Not even them nosy neighbors gonna know what's going on. Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strength for your prescription. And did I mention the chewable? Just like popping a Mentos. And they're made right here in the good old US of A. Now you're asking, how do I get my Blue Chew? Visit BlueChew.com and make sure to enter promo code 1010XL at checkout. Try it for free and just pay $5 shipping. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. That's right. Use promo code 1010XL and let your boy hook you up with some Blue Chew. Get your confidence back. Visit BlueChew.com.
Post-Game Monday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Who has the best lineup this season? Honda. Cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, hybrids, and electric. This is one of the greatest lineups Honda has ever had. And now is the best time to purchase or lease one. Visit your local Honda dealer now. Remember, only a Honda is a Honda.
Universal Roof and Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game. Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
Mac Jones had that dog in him Sunday in Jacksonville. The Duval native went 20 of 32 for 235 yards and threw for 2 touchdowns in what was an absolute masterclass. Number 10 was a perfect 10 for the Teal and Black and is your Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game.
It's the end of the year sale with Universal Roof and Contracting. Get 15% off all roof repairs and replacements, plus a $250 gift card for holiday shopping. With financing options as low as $150 a month, protecting your home's never been easier. Schedule your free roof inspection today. Call 855-ROOF-HELP, and this offer expires December 31st. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Start your week by Talkin' Teal with Tony. Hall of Fame Monday with Tony Baselli. Monday mornings at 7:20 with Dan and Jeff on the drill. Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida. Hall of Fame Quality Roofing Solutions on 1010XL.
Joe C. for CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. There's nothing like the ambiance of a custom-built fireplace. The team at CSS can design and install the perfect setup, including wood, gas, and electric models, whether you want the elegance of an indoor fireplace or the warmth of an outdoor fire pit. You dream it, they build it. Visit their showroom or online at cssfireplaces.com.
You dream it, we build it. CSS.
Joint replacement surgery is always a tough decision, but relief from chronic pain may be just around the corner. Dr. George Barry here, and there's a lot to consider to make sure you get the proper diagnosis and best path back to the range of motion and mobility you had. Age, lifestyle, and overall health all play a part. Let the team at Barry Orthopedics give you a full analysis to help you make the best decision. Log on to BarryOrthopedics.com or call the office to make an appointment. With offices across Jacksonville and ready to help you feel good again, we'll get you back on the road to recovery at Barry Orthopedics.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too. From Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
After the unfortunate injury to Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones returned to action and took over. Jones looked more comfortable than he did in the first 2 starts of the season, going 20 of 32 for 235 yards and 2 touchdowns yesterday. One to Brian Thomas Jr. with just minutes left in the game to possibly give them a chance down the stretch. Here's Jones on how he thought he played yesterday.
Yeah, I think it just, going back to doing my job and taking it one play at a time and just being me and trying to have fun out there. Obviously, every NFL game pretty much is going to go to the fourth quarter if you're lucky, and we were there. We just, it was a little too late by me, so it's on me.
I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, where have we been today on the program? Well, we talked all about Azeez Al-Shaair and the horrible cheap shot. I hope he gets suspended a minimum of 3 games. We'll see what happens. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think it should. We talked about that today on the program. Trevor, will he come back? We'll certainly wait and see what happens. And the Jags lost the battle at the trenches at the end of the game, and that's why they lost the game. We talked about a huge win for Florida over Florida State, and yet another recruiting move for the Gators. They get yet another recruit. Boy, things are going well for them. Crazy weekend in sports, and more and more. What a great college football weekend it was. It really was.
Really was outstanding. Can't wait to see what the committee does with the playoff format. We'll find that out tomorrow evening. But it's awfully tough to decide. When you look at South Carolina, won 6 straight. Miami's had a fine season. Alabama has a win over Georgia. Boy, it is going to be really, really difficult. There are going to be a couple teams that feel like they were greatly snubbed when this final result gets announced in a week.
We'll have one tomorrow that we'll get an idea where they are, and then the final one tomorrow or next week we'll see who's in the playoffs. That'll do it for our program. Don't go anywhere, though. Rick Blue's going into the night. You can be listening?
I'm going to have a nice glass of the bubbly.
I might be locked into
listen,
I'm locked into the I mean, I may not get out of my car.
The over-under on belly laughs for me is 6.5 in the first 10 minutes.
I'm going over. That'll do it. Rick Ballou will be fantastic. He always is. That comes up in a bit. We're out of here. Don't go anywhere. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.